वर्दी प्रेसिडेंट श्री अशोक शर्मा जी, नीतिका मैम, ज्वाइंट सेक्रेटरी सर, स्पीकर ऑफ द डे श्री पी.के. मित्तल जी, learned senior colleagues and my dear friends. It is a matter of great privilege and proud for me to welcome all of you in this fourth webinar study circle meeting of STB. And topic which we are going to discuss today is extensive analysis of ITC under GST. सर, मुझे लगता है कि GST के अंदर सिर्फ एक ही चीज सप्लायर को दी जा रही है और वो है ITC, और उसमें भी बहुत सारी इफ एंड बट्स हैं। कहीं पे कुछ है तो कहीं पर कुछ है, कहीं पर ब्लॉकेज है, कहीं पर कह रहे हैं जी आप 5% दोगे तो ITC नहीं लेंगे। इस प्रकार की अनेक चीजें हैं। और आज इस टॉपिक पर जो डिस्कशन हो रहा है वो करने जा रहे हैं बहुत ही लर्नेड व्यक्तित्व श्री पी.के. मित्तल, स्पीकर ऑफ द डे। आई वेलकम यू सर ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ STBA एंड एग्जीक्यूटिव टीम। सर जो हैं वो एडवोकेट हैं, स्टेट सी स्टेट और NCLT और इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स की विशेष रूप से प्रैक्टिस करते हैं। बहुत सारे जजमेंट्स जो बहुत लैंडमार्क जजमेंट हैं वो इन्होंने आर्ग्यू किए हैं। एक जजमेंट जो इन्होंने मुझे भेजा था अभी पीछे ही, सी स्टेट चंडीगढ़ से, जो जिसमें इन्होंने आर्ग्यू किया, उसमें कहा गया है, सर्विस टैक्स का था, लेकिन उसमें कहा गया है कि डेवलपमेंट राइट्स आर नॉट इमोल प्रॉपर्टी। मैं सही कह रहा हूं सर? मुझे करेक्ट कर देना मित्तल सर यदि मैं सही ना कह रहा हूं तो आज जो विषय है, ये विषय बहुत 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 गंभीर है और अनेक बार इस पर डिस्कशन हो चुका है। लेकिन आज डिस्कशन का जो नजरिया रहेगा वो अलग रहेगा। वो क्या क्या इसमें हम विषय डिस्कस करेंगे, कौन कौन सी चीजें डिस्कस करेंगे। हाउ टू अनब्लॉक द ब्लॉक्ड क्रेडिट अंडर सेक्शन 17(5) C and D with the help of decided both under pre-GST and post-GST regime, meaning of plant and machinery, condition for availment, house stick and rigid, document for availment, and fundamental principle of ITC with Supreme Court basis under pre-GST regime. So that is our area of discussion of today. और जो हस्ती इस पे डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं उसको आप सुनने के बाद ही अंदाजा लगाएंगे कि वो कितना उनका अनुभव है, कितना उनकी नॉलेज है इस विषय पर। तो मैं ज्यादा समय ना लेते हुए, क्योंकि थोड़ा सा समय की भी रेस्ट्रिक्शन है, तो ज्यादा समय ना लेता हुआ सीधा उनको आमंत्रित करता हूं कि वो आए और इस विषय पर हमें इनलाइटन करें। श्री पी.के. प्लीज सर।
Rakesh ji, thank you so much. Indeed, I am very grateful for the Siltex Bar Association and Shri Ashok Sharma ji, Madam Nitika Khanna, Rakesh Agarwal ji, and other learned member of this distinguished Bar Association. As Rakesh ji rightly pointed out, that this topic is a topic where we talk of how to get the tax, which could be used at the time of making supply. And ITC in pre-GST arena, it used to be called SENVIT. So during my deliberation, many times, as it is said, old habit die hard. So I may be using the word SENVIT. So kindly treat the word as ITC. Before I proceed with the ITC, there are certain general principles which any professional or any student of the CGST has to keep in the mind. And the landmark judgment is, which start with today's presentation, is Daichi Karkaria of 1999, volume 112, ELT 353, which says that the credit or input, if somebody has taken validly, it cannot be taken. In fact, the Supreme Court clearly says that it has the essential right, it is the fundamental right of a person um, uh, uh, to take the credit, and it cannot be taken away. Then we have another judgment of another Supreme Court, Eicher Motor of 99, where the Supreme Court says the tax, the tax which I have paid to the supplier is nothing but a Senvet is nothing but a tax paid. ITC is nothing but a tax paid. This is what Eicher Motor also says, and I'll submit that this and I'll submit that these two judgments, Daiichi Karkaria and IT and this Eicher Motor, these are the two landmark judgments which all professional must read at least once. In fact, the Delhi High Court, when the Delhi High Court last week decided the case of this Reliance Electrical, whereby they have dealt with Rule 117 of the CGST rule, they have also considered Daiichi Karkaria case. Then we have third judgment of the Gujarat High Court in the case of CC versus Annapurna Industries 2010 255 ELT, where the division bench of Gujarat High Court says accumulated Senvet credit cannot lapse in the absence of statutory provisions. You can't just issue a board circular and can take away the benefit of ITC. Then first of all, let us understand what all is included or in the word ITC. 262 defines what is ITC. ITC, as is very clear, in relation to registered person. Pausing for a minute here, it is a fundamental requirement for anyone to avail ITC that he must be registered. If he is not registered, many times it so happens the entity which are engaged in the business of exports or in again the SEZ, they take some time in getting themselves registered under the GST, and during the period when they remain unregistered, the department is always too eager and too conscious to disallow the ITC. So therefore, the registration should immediately take place, and thereafter we should purchase the input or input services. So input in relation to registered person means central tax, state tax, integrated tax, then unitary tax, tax charge on any supply of goods or services or both. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, everywhere we talk of goods or services and nowhere we talk of capital goods. And sometimes we say capital good definition is whatever is capitalized in the books of account is capital goods. But in my view, the word capital goods should have also been here, but nonetheless it is. Now the second is integrated. Integrated tax IGST charge on import of goods. Next is then the tax paid on reverse charge under 9.3 and 9.4. So first is input tax we have paid on supply of goods or services which we receive. Second is IGST on import of goods. Fourth is the tax we pay on reverse charge under section 9.3 and 9.4. Then tax payable under provisions of 3 and 4 of section 5 of IGST Act. And then once again, this is 3 and 4 of section 9 of this IGST, again reverse charge. But the tax paid under composition scheme, we are not entitled to avail the benefit. So it is completely ruled out. Now we see rule 43(1)(b). ITC paid on capital goods can be taken for effecting taxable supply shall be credited to the electronic credit ledger. Now rule says, unfortunately for capital goods, section do not say at all that we are entitled to take the ITC. It is only rule, it is by virtue of rule we are entitled to take the credit on capital goods. Surprisingly, I do not know why they have not brought into the main section. Now, anyhow, is a wisdom of the government. I can't question it. Now, Now the question is, we have seen any registered person is supposed to make payment within a period of 180 days. Now, for example, he has reversed the credit. The question then arises, by what time or by how many months a year he can take the credit once again. To that, there is no time limit prescribed. If, for example, after 1 year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, moment the buyer makes payment to the supplier, he is entitled to take the credit. But otherwise, at all places, there is a time limit for taking the credit. But for taking the recredit, there is no time limit. Now, very interesting thing, many times in respect of the government contracts, there is a contract on the one side, there is a government, on the other side there is a private contractor. Sometimes there is a delay in execution of a contract. There is always provision in the contract that the government is entitled to levy liquidated damages, in short we call LD. And when the government levy liquidated damages, the question then arises, is GST is liable to be paid? We have seen Schedule 2, Para 5E, which clearly says that whenever any penalty is imposed, whenever liquidated damage is imposed, the contractor, the contractee or the principal or the government department, they are liable to pay GST on the liquidated damages. But the question arises, if they have to pay GST on the liquidated damages, are they entitled to take the ITC of the tax paid or not? In my view, yes. And there is judgment of General Manager Ordnance Factory, Bhandara. This is delivered by the Advanced Ruling Authority, where the Advanced Ruling Authority has clearly held that once a principal or a contractee pays the GST on the liquid damages which he received from the contractor, he can take the credit of the tax paid to the government. Then and many times it so happens, in fact I have been daily receiving queries that I have paid tax at the higher rate. Now can I take the credit, though the tax payable is say 12%, we have paid tax at the 18% or 28%. The question then arises, can I take the credit of the tax which actually I have paid and not the tax which I was required to pay? The answer is, law is settled on this point in the case of CC versus Jai Mata Alloys 2008-232 Excise Law times 462, where the tribunal has clearly held that the person can take the full credit of the tax pay, though in law he was required to pay tax at a lower rate. Then the next question arises about the interchangeability. For example, I have the ITC of supply of goods, and beside I am engaged in the business of supply of goods as well as supply of services. The question is, when I am supplying the services, I have to pay GST. Can I take the credit which accrued to me on supply of goods for payment of GST on supplies made by me? The answer is yes. It is vice versa. I can take it. Law is again settled in the pre-GST regime. When I had the credit of excise duty, I could have utilized for the purpose of payment of service tax, and vice versa. To this effect, there is a clarification by the Central Board of Excise and Customs, and also there is a judgment of the tribunal in the case of Nahari Industrial Enterprises 2007-10 STT 117. So law is settled on that point. Now the next judgment which I am bringing to your kind notice is that of Calcutta High Court in the case of Singh Alloys and Steel Limited, Manu, West Bengal 0305 1993. This is again a landmark judgment which any professional of or the student of GST must read and must know the ratio of this judgment. The question has arisen in this case was, the department has raised the question before the High Court that the particular inputs, these were not required or these were not necessary to be used by the SSC, and why the SSC has used such input in the manufacture of the finished goods. The Calcutta High Court says it is always left to the wisdom, it is always left to the discretion of the SSC to decide as to which inputs are required, which inputs are not required, which input services are necessary, which input services are not necessary. And it is nobody's business. It is not certainly department to tell the SSC that you should have used this much input only and this input was not at all necessary. In fact, about 3 years back, I was arguing a case before Sestat Allahabad. It was a case of Bajaj Hindustan Limited, a sugar king of India. The London SDR raised a point that it was a case of disallowance of Senmet credit in respect of a machinery which we bought. The department officer says, sir, this much machinery was not required. Immediately the London member reacted, tell me what is the value of the plant and machinery. He says value of plant and machinery is about 2 crore. He says how much is the input credit? Is about 32 lakhs. Then he asks a question to the London SDR. Do you mean to say for availing the Senmet of 32 lakhs, they will simply spend 2 crore for no purpose, for no use? Tell me this thing. He didn't have any answer, excepting that he started looking at the sky. He said, what question are you asking? Don't tell the SSC what input is required, what input is not required. It is left to the SSC to decide and to take a conscious decision what input are required, what input services required, what capital goods are required. Then again, many times it so happens today we buy certain raw material, and later on for some reason it is decided that a particular finished goods may not be manufactured, may not be supplied to the buyer, though raw material we have already bought it. The question then arises is, can the input tax credit which we have acquired for buying a certain raw material which has not been used for the manufacture and supply of finished good, can I take the credit? The answer is yes, because again, as per the judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Daiichi Karkaria, no one-to-one correlation is required. Any input services or capital goods, moment I buy, and I am entitled to take the credit, and that credit could be used for manufacture and supply of any goods or any services. So therefore, law clearly says that no correlation is required under the law. Now let us analyze section 16(1). ITC shall be used for providing taxable goods or output service or both. Now what is taxable? So the fundamental requirement is that I am entitled to take the credit only when I am supplying either the taxable goods or taxable services. Then the next word is input or input services used or intended to be used. Now again, the question is, now for example, today or in the immediate near future, a particular input may not be required. It may be required, say, after 1 year, may be required after 2 years. The question then arises, can the department say that, look, why you have bought right now, why you have acquired right now, when these were required by you after 6 months or 1 year? In my humble view, department has no business to tell me, because the word he uses used input, used or intended to be used. even if I have intention to use in future, I am entitled to take the ITC right now. Now, how the word intended to be used has been explained and interpreted. There is a landmark judgment of SAIL in the case of SAIL versus CC 1996, volume 5, SCC 484, where the Honorable Supreme Court has said intended for use as appearing in exemption notification mean that the raw naphtha was intended for use in the manufacture of fertilizer and not that is what actually used. So this judgment clearly says that it is not necessary that in the immediate near future or maybe tomorrow or maybe after 10 days, I am supposed to use it. I can use it moment I had intention to use in future. In case assuming I don't, but tomorrow I change the idea, I can always dispose it off and reverse the SENVET credit. There is no bar as such. Now this word, there are two words, the use or intended to be used in the course of. The question is, what is the meaning of the word in the course of? For that purpose, we'll have to see the judgment of the Bombay High Court in the case of Muhammad Yusuf versus D. AIR 1968 Bombay, page 112, where the word in the course of business has been explained to say that it is the entire gamut of business activity which is being conducted by the SSE, and therefore in any activity, in the entire gamut of activity, whenever I acquire any input service or input, I am entitled to take the credit because it would be in the course of my business. Now, in furtherance of business, now the question is, what is the meaning of the word in furtherance of business? That again is amplified and explained and interpreted by the Honorable Supreme Court in the case of CIT versus Malayalam Plantation, Manu SC 0110 1964. In fact, this is a very, very illustrative, very exhaustive, and very elaborated judgment of the Supreme Court, and which again any student of law and a professional must read it. The expression for the purpose of business may include not only day-to-day running of business, but also a rationalization of its administration and modernization of its machinery. It may include measures for the preservation of the business and for the protection of its assets and property from expropriation, coercive process. Now the word coercive process is means if tomorrow we'll have to fight a litigation. Tomorrow we'll have to fight a litigation to protect our asset, to protect our revenue. That will also get covered in furtherance of business. Coercive process or assertion of hostile title, that again speaks of a litigation. It may also comprehend payment of statutory dues and taxes imposed as a condition, as a precondition to commence or for carrying on of a business. It may comprehend many other acts incidental to carrying on of the business. So if we have read it, it covers everything right from start of the business, ultimate to the end of the business. Rather, it says even the hostile takeover, hostile title, any coercive measures by the government department or by by court or by any third party, and any amount is spent would be in the furtherance of business only. Now, what are the fundamental requirements in short? Number one, A, possession of invoice. Number two, or debit note or tax paying document. Now, in the pre-GST regime, only the invoice was called a duty paying document. Debit note and the tax paying document were never considered to be the duty paying document. I illustrate a very interesting case. What happened? One of my client, they were engaged in the export of cables. They procured certain input for the manufacture of electric cable, and they availed advance license, and by availing the advance license, they procured certain raw material without payment of excise duty because the finished goods were to be exported. They procured without payment of excise duty. Later on, the idea changed that we don't have export order. Ultimately, the finished cable have to be sold in DTA, in the domestic market. Immediately when the idea came, this decision was changed from export to domestic market. We paid the excise duty on the raw material which we have purchased. And the excise duty, there was no way of paying the excise duty, only through treasury challan. So we paid the excise duty through treasury challan and took the credit. Immediately department to objection, treasury challan is not a duty paying document. The matter went to tribunal. Tribunal asked a very simple question, though the treasury challan is not a duty paying document, but the honorable tribunal asked a question to the DR, is tell us, have they paid duty or not? He said, yes. Have you received duty or not? Yes, we have received duty. Once you have received the duty, why you will not give credit? So the honorable tribunal made a departure from the written law, and the SENVET credit was allowed. Now, fortunately, in the GST regime, 3 documents are there: invoice, debit note, and tax paying and the tax paying document, which could be treasury challan. And for the purpose, and whenever is a question of import of raw material or import of services, we have bill of entry itself is a duty paying document. The next fundamental requirement is goods must have been received either by the buyer or somebody on the behalf of the buyer. It could be a job worker also, because many times it so happens that the principal purchase the raw material, it is sent directly to the premises of a job worker. As per law, the moment goods have been received at the end of a job worker, the principal is entitled to take the SENVET credit or ITC. There is no dispute about it. Now, as for the receipt of services is concerned, the question then arises, what is the point of receipt of service at the end of the SSC? In fact, in one of my earlier webinar, one learned professional asked me a question, sir, we have taken the license to use the software, and the license is valid for a period of 3 years. Invoice has been issued by a licensor. He has paid tax. The question is, the license, the services I am going to avail, not in 1 year or not right now, it would be availed over a period of 3 years. The question then arises, can I take the credit on proportionally basis year-wise, or I could take everything right now? The answer is the assessee is entitled to take the full credit for the entire period of 3 years right now, and department cannot question it, department cannot disallow it. Next is C, tax actually paid to the government. And when we talk of tax paid to the government, tax could be paid either by way of cash or by use of ITC. Next requirement is the assessee should have filed a return under section 39. Next requirement is non-claiming of depreciation on tax component on capital goods or plant and machinery by the assessee. Fourth, no credit after furnishing of return for the month of September. Return for the month of September, we have to file by 20th of October, or annual return, whichever is earlier. So generally it is 20th October. 20th October is the outermost limit by which the party is required to take the credit. In case they don't credit, then they lose the right of taking the credit at all. Then invoice should not be more than 1 year old. This is also a requirement, because department will immediately jump over it moment they come to know that the day you have taken the credit, the invoice was more than 1 year old. Now, 17.1. Full ITC shall be allowable only to the extent input is attributable to his business where taxable supplies are made or zero rated supplies are made. So when the assessee is engaged in exempt supply, non-taxable, for example, Schedule 3 supplies, he can't take ITC for Schedule 3 supplies. In case his supplies are exempt, again he can't take the ITC. Then zero rate. In the earlier regime, there were many goods which used to bear zero rate of excise duty. In law, zero rate is also rate of duty and tax. So therefore, in respect of SEZ supply and export supply, there is a zero rate. So as I said, zero rate is also a rate of duty, and therefore the assessee is entitled to the ITC of input services and the capital goods when he is supplying the goods which are taxable and the goods are either meant for export or meant for SEZ supplies. And also ITC could be taken when the tax is paid on reverse charge basis. However, it is again it is a very draconian law which the government has made, that when a demand is confirmed under Section 74. Section 74, we all know, when the department invoke the extended period of limitation, that is when they allege fraud, when they allege misrepresentation, when they allege that the party with an intent to evade payment of duty. As we all know, under Section 74, the department can issue a show cause notice before 6 months of the expiry of period of 5 years. That is immediately any time after 4 years and 6 months, department can issue a show cause notice saying that you had an intent to evade payment of duty, and therefore we are invoking the extended period of limitation. But if the demand is confirmed under Section 74 and this is not challenged by you before higher appellate authority, therefore, and tax, whatever tax you are paying, you are not entitled to the ITC, which was not there in earlier regime. In earlier regime, whenever demand was confirmed, I was entitled to take the ITC and could have used it. Of course, I was liable to pay penalty and interest. That was a different thing. But now in this regime, 129, as we all know, when the goods are being confiscated, when they are in transit, and the department feels that they are liable, the department feels that these are not duty paying goods and there is a clandestine removal of goods. So in that case, the department has a right to detain the goods en route and can start the proceedings. 130 GST is also a section where the department feel the goods are liable for confiscation and the goods are confiscated, demand is confirmed, then also we are not entitled to take the ITC of the demand confirmed under Section 74, 129 and 130 of the CGST Act. Now, Section 16(2)(d), first proviso. Now, we have seen, as I said, the buyer is supposed to make payment within 180 days within 180 days. The question then arises is if 180 days expires, then Rule 37(3) says that interest shall be payable from day one. The day I received the goods, I am liable to pay interest, and I have also to reverse the ITC which I have taken at the time of receipt of goods. Now, it's again a draconian provision. Why a draconian provision? Let me try to elaborate and illustrate. Now, for 6 months, the credit was there. Now, assuming I have not utilized the ITC. If I have not utilized the ITC, where is the question of payment of interest? I really wonder whether any institution or any chamber have taken up with the government on this issue. That look, the interest is always compensatory, and there are many other provisions in the CGST Act where even if somebody has availed it, there is a liability to pay interest. I'll in subsequent slides there I'll demonstrate for the benefit of the learned member. There are 4 or 5 judgments which are to the benefit of the assessee, that the interest is payable only when the ITC has been actually utilized and not merely taken in my books of account. Now there is a ruling of the Advanced Ruling Authority where the AA of the West Bengal has clearly held that the payment could also be made by way of book adjustment. Book adjustment is also one of the ways of making the payment, and if the payment is adjusted by way of some adjustment, some payment is made, some payment is payable by the supplier to the payer, and some adjustment takes place, some credit entries passes through. There also I'm not supposed, the buyer is not supposed to make payment by way of check or by way of cash, and the adjustment is also sufficient compliance of section 16(2). Now I was telling you that there are a number of judgment on this point, that interest is liable to paid only when I have utilized, the word is I have utilized the SENVIT credit. Now before that I must bring to your notice that the 2 judgments, one is of Delhi High Court and another is of Karnataka High Court. In the Delhi High Court, in the case of Arise India Limited of 2017, where also the validity of section 9(2)(g) of Delhi Value Added Tax came up for consideration, and the High Court, Honorable Delhi High Court has rejected the contention of the department. They say, Department High Court held that as far as the buyer is concerned, the duty of the buyer is to receive the invoices, to receive the goods, and to make payment either cash or by check. And if he has made payment by way of check, to produce to the department, here is my bank statement showing that the payment has been made to the supplier. This is what all is the obligation. This is what all is the duty of the buyer. And if this duty has been discharged by the buyer, the SENVIT credit cannot be denied. The department filed an appeal before the Honorable Supreme Court. Supreme Court has not entertained the appeal of the department. Therefore, this ruling of Delhi High Court has become final. The Supreme Court has made observation to the department that in some case you have any doubt, you have any apprehension that there is a collusion between the supplier and the buyer, you bring to the notice of Delhi High Court, and Delhi High Court will pass the appropriate orders. But the Supreme Court did not intervene. So this has become the law of the land, and this also the DV Act also talks of actual it says actually paid to the government. So therefore the provision of this act and the current provision are exactly identical. So therefore the ratio of this judgment will also apply to the cases which may tomorrow arise under the CGST Act. Then we have one more judgment of the Karnataka High Court. Karnataka High Court, there is a latest judgment of 2019 of Karnataka High Court in the case of Onex Designs versus CC. ITC cannot be denied to purchasing dealer if the purchaser dealer establishes while purchasing goods he has paid the amount of tax to the selling dealer. Action to be taken against the selling dealer by the department. And against this judgment, department has not filed an appeal before the Supreme Court. They accepted it. Now, there is again a very latest judgment of the Commissioner Appeal, Delhi ITO, and this judgment is delivered as early as March 2020. The facts are absolutely identical. The buyer bought the software. He paid by way of checks. Checks were encashed. His account was debited. Department could not establish any collusion between the supplier and the buyer, and therefore the Commissioner Appeal, and let me bring to you another, the learned Commissioner Appeal has allowed the appeal of the SSC and has passed a severe stricture against the department that you have wrongly disallowed the Senmet credit without any investigation, and has passed virtually such a strong stricture. And fortunately, this appeal was argued by me before the learned Commissioner Appeal. Now, I was earlier, when I was talking about the payment of interest when an SSC has availed the ITC. And the first landmark judgment is Pratibha Processors, Union of India, 1996, 88 ELT, 12 Supreme Court. What Supreme Court says about the interest? This Honorable Supreme Court said interest is compensatory in character and is imposed on an SSC who has withheld payment of tax. Mind you, the word is who has withheld payment of tax as and when it is due and payable. The levy of interest is geared to actual amount of tax withheld and the extent of the delay in paying the tax on the due date. Essentially, it is a compensatory and different from penalty, which is payable in nature. So therefore, the Supreme Court clearly says interest is compensatory in nature and is liable to be paid when the government is deprived of its revenue, its taxes and duties. Then we have the landmark judgment of the Karnataka High Court in the case of Bill Forge. But before that, I must bring to your kind notice, before this judgment, there is a judgment of the Supreme Court in the case of IndusSwift Limited. This is of 2011. And the Karnataka High Court in the case of Bill Forge, this judgment came subsequent to Supreme Court judgment. What the Karnataka High Court has held is landmark judgment. Credit of excise duty in the register maintained for the said purpose is only a book entry. It might be utilized later for payment of excise duty on the excisable product. One is entitled to use credit any time thereafter when making payment of excise duty on the excisable product. It matures when the excisable product is received from the factory and the stage for payment of excise duty is reached. Actually, the credit is taken at the time of removal of excise duty. The word is credit is taken at the time of removal of excise duty and not when the book entry was made. It is in the nature of set off or an adjustment. Therefore, interest is payable from the date as by such entry revenue is not to put any losses at all. When the book entry was made, the revenue is not put to any losses, and if it has been utilized wrongly, only it could be said that revenue is put to losses. Then now further, this judgment further says once the wrong entry was pointed out, being convinced, the SSC, this is facts of this, SSC promptly reversed the entry. In other words, the SSC did not take the advantage of wrong entry, because in this case what has happened, he himself realized that I have taken a wrong credit. He himself reversed it without actually utilizing the same. He did not take the credit or utilize the credit. It is in those circumstances tribunal was justified in holding that when the SSC has not taken the benefit of Senmet credit, there is no liability to pay the interest. Before it can be taken means utilized, it has been reversed. Now, This judgment is of Wilford of 2011. Now we have another judgment of 2014 of the Division Bench of Madras High Court, where what Madras High Court says is again very interesting. Why I'm emphasizing all these judgments is because in many places, department takes interpretation. Moment you have taken the credit, you have to pay interest whether you utilize it or whether you have not utilized it. So therefore, these judgment must be in the armory of all the professional. The CC versus Vilas Industrial Fab, Rule 14 of the Senate Credit Rule, as has been subsequently amended, wherein it has been clearly stated, taken and utilized. So therefore, it is quite clear that mere taking itself would not compel the assessee to pay interest as well as penalty. Meaning thereby, the assessee could be called upon to pay interest only when he has utilized it. Now we have again 2018 judgment of Karnataka High Court. It's again a very interesting. Rule 14. What Rule 14 says? Senate credit has been taken or utilized wrongly or has been erroneously refunded, so and so, so and so. Now what the Karnataka High Court says in the case of Vilas Fabric, the imposition of penalty interest in the present case has been set aside by the tribunal, essentially on the ground that soon upon mistake being pointed out by the officer of the department, assessee immediately reversed the Senate credit wrongly availed. He has not utilized it. So therefore, the demand for the interest, demand for the penalty has been set aside. So in future, if any such eventuality arises, and let me tell you, all these judgments have not been challenged before the Supreme Court. So these judgments have attained finality. And therefore, these judgments will equally apply in the GST regime as well. Now, the question, now we will deal with section 17.5H. Section 17.5H says the ITC will not be allowed when goods lost, stolen, destroyed, written off, disposed of by way of gift or free sample. I think 5-6 words are used: lost, stolen, destroyed, written off, disposed of by gift or so and so. Now let us see the various, and let me tell you, these words were also there in the pre-GST regime. Now how the Honorable High Court and how the Honorable Tribunal has taken a view in this situation is demonstrated in these slides. Now this is a judgment of the MP High Court in the case of Ruchi Soya Industries, where the Honorable Bombay High Court says ITC on entire input is available even if part of the input goes in by product or waste like sludge, which is not taxable. Principle of proportionate apportionment is not applicable, and the party and the assessee is entitled to full credit. Then there is no time limit specified in section 16, 18 and 90C about utilization. Once the assessee has taken a credit, assuming I have taken a credit today, I am assessee, the question arises, can I take credit after 2 years, maybe 5 years, or maybe 10 years? The answer is no. For utilizing that, the time limit is prescribed for taking credit, but there is no time limit prescribed for utilizing the Senate credit or ITC. Further, the provision to section 18.6 provide refractory, bricks, molds, dies, jigs, fixture sold as a scrap, GST shall be payable on value as per section 15 as a scrap, mean item is not capable of use for the desired purpose. So whenever these are sold as a scrap on a value which is as per section 15 of CGST, the tax is payable. I am not supposed to reverse the ITC which I have taken at the time when any of these things came to my factory upon purchase. Now, credit availed as input but actually held as capital goods. Many times it so happen you are saying that is an input, but tomorrow department says no, it is not a capital goods. The question is it interchangeable? Yes, it is also interchangeable. There is a larger bench judgment of the tribunal in the case of the Modi Rubber Limited, where interchangeability was allowed. Initially, the party has taken as an input, but later on it was held to be capital goods. The tribunal says, very fine, so long as the duty paid, so long it is used in the manufacture of dutiable goods, duty has been paid, the party is entitled to take the ITC or the Senmet credit. Now, the second point is process loss and handling loss. And let me bring to your notice one rider. The judgment which I am submitting before you is those judgment where the raw material has been put in the process of manufacturing, in the process of manufacturing process. And therefore, in all these cases, the tribunal has held the party is entitled to Senmet credit. Now, in this case also of Indian Aluminium, which has been delivered by the Honorable Supreme Court, the question was there will always be some loss during manufacturing process, but the ITC is available on the entire input which has been put into manufacturing process, even if it is not reflected in the final product. And now let me submit to you. In fact, department has its own manual, department has its own instructions for all industries, and they have prescribed the losses, manufacturing losses, which could be allowed. Somewhere it is 0.5%, somewhere it is 1%, somewhere it is 2%. So long as the losses are within the parameter prescribed by the department, the party is required to take the benefit of ITC. He cannot be called upon to reverse the ITC because there is some process loss of input during manufacturing process. Now, there is another judgment of Delhi High Court where Delhi High Court says if in the duty paying documents or some other document accompanying the goods which has come to the factory of the buyer, if there is a minor defect, on the basis of the minor defect, the Senmet credit or ITC cannot be denied. And for this purpose, there is a judgment of JK Industries and also of Varinder Agro of Delhi High Court, where both the honorable courts have held because of minor defect, the ITC cannot be denied. And if you see section 122 also of the CGS state clearly says the minor defect in documents have to be ignored and no penalty have to be imposed. Now, in the process of manufacture, if input becomes scrap or waste, credit shall not be denied. It is only where goods or input have become destroyed in full, ITC will not be allowed. And this is what frequently asked question number 20 of the question issued by the distinguished Institute of Chartered Accountant of India on GST. They also says when there is a total loss, only then you are required to reverse the ITC. But if there is a partial loss or minor loss, the ITC is not required to be reversed. Then we have loss of input by evaporation, because something goes in the sky, something goes in the air in the manufacturing process, and therefore there is a process loss. ITC cannot be denied, and there is a judgment to this effect. There is a judgment of the Gujarat High Court in the case of CC versus BOC India 2008, so on so. Now question is, what are the fundamental requirements for availing the benefit of ITC? The fundamental requirement is that number one, there is a duty paying document. Number two, receipt of input, and the tax has been paid on the finished good. This was the principle being followed by the tribunal consistently in all cases, that they say duty paid or not, goods, raw material received in the factory or not, raw material utilized in the manufacture of finished goods or not, and finished goods were cleared on payment of duty or not. These are the questions which were asked. If the answer is yes, the party is entitled to take the Senmet credit. Now, very interesting judgment of the Senmet. If the address of consignee due to bona fide mistake is written wrongly. But there is no dispute about receipt of input. The tribunal has allowed the ITC, and for this purpose, there is a judgment of Om Textile versus CCE 2006 199 ELT 47. Now, even this is a judgment of tribunal where excess loss beyond what is prescribed by the department was allowed only on the condition that there was no clandestine removal of either finished goods or raw material. Department could not establish that there is a clandestine removal of goods. Now, in this judgment of Asia Brown Brewery, the process law, there was no process loss, but where it was a transit loss, when the raw material or input have left the premises of supplier, and during transit there was a loss of input, and to the loss of input the ITC was the SENBIT was disallowed. On the same principle, ITC will also be disallowed because as I said at the very beginning, the principle is the raw material must have been put in the process of manufacture. If this happens, ITC cannot be denied. Now, there is judgment of Appellate Authority of Maharashtra Advanced Ruling Authority, where in the case of Maharashtra State Power Generation Company Limited, it has been held that this I think I have already explained. I need not to trouble you once again. Now 17.5. अब देखिए 17.5 में motor vehicle, vessel and aircraft. Now let me first deal with motor vehicle. Motor vehicle below the capacity of 13. No repair allowed. No service tax paid on रेंटिंग, मतलब रेंटिंग में अगर आपने रेंट पे लिया है या आपने लीज पे लिया है, नॉट अलाउड. इफ यू हैव एक्वायर्ड ITC, not allowed. ITC will be allowed only when it is used for further supply, or it is used for further training, or it is used for transportation, or motor vehicle has been used by the vehicle dealer for the purpose of demonstration. You must have seen when you have been going to buy a car, there is a called a demo car, which is kept in the dealer premises for the purpose of demonstration. And there are the two rulings of Goa and Kerala. Advanced Ruling Authority, they have consistently held that the car which has been kept in dealer premises for the purpose of demonstration, ITC will be allowed. ITC for transportation of goods is allowable irrespective of tonnage. Now, this is again a very important, which you must bear in the mind. I'll hurriedly go through. ITC on a special type of vehicles modified for use in the factory, internal movement within the factory, vehicle for transportation of gas, fuel, water, and other liquid items, concrete mixer, vehicle for construction service, ITC would be available on dumpers, work trucks, and other special purpose motor vehicle. The motor vehicle and other conveyances which are used for courier agency, outdoor catering, pandal and shamina, and tour operator are eligible for ITC. Now, aircraft and vessel, same principle will apply. ITC will not be allowed unless it is for further supply, or it is for further training, or for transportation of either goods or services. Otherwise, except for four things, the ITC on aircraft and vessel will not be allowed. Meaning thereby, repair maintenance will not be allowed if you acquire aircraft and vessel either on lease or on rent. ITC will not be allowed. Same principle as that of motor vehicle having capacity of less than 13. This I have already covered. Now, very interesting point. We have seen the invoice is to be in the name of the supplier, or in the buyer. Now, the question arises, many times you must have seen the companies to some employee, company provide mobile phone, and to some employees, the company do not provide the mobile phones. They have their own personal mobile phones, and the company reimburses the expenses. Now the question is, what will happen to the tax paid by the employees, because the invoice in the name of employees and not in the name of the company. Now there is a judgment of the tribunal in that case, where the tribunal has said, though the invoices or the bill may be in the name of the employees, what has to be ensured is that the expenses has been debited in the accounts of the company, and if expenses are debited, therefore the company is fully entitled to avail ITC, because it is the company who has paid the tax, including the amount of bill. And therefore, though invoice may not be in the name of the company, and yet the company is entitled to avail ITC. Now, a group medical policy, group insurance, generally it is prohibited item, but if under section 38 of ESI Act, if these have been taken pursuant to the mandatory requirement or pursuant to the legal requirement, then in that event, the tax paid to the insurance company, it is allowable as ITC, and for this purpose, there is judgment of CC versus Micro Lab Limited 2011 270 ELT Karnataka High Court. Now, during this lockdown period, the Ministry of Home Affairs from time to time issued orders, and it was mandated by the Ministry of Home Affairs to take the insurance cover for the employees, and in case insurance cover has been taken, the company would be entitled to avail the ITC, because there was a mandatory requirement. Similarly, if the ambulance has been taken on hire, because it is a mandatory requirement of the Factories Act, so if any tax has been paid to the supplier of ambulance, the party is entitled to avail ITC, and this has been so held in the case of Hindustan Zinc Limited versus CC. Citation is given. I need not report because the time is, I'm running out of time, so I'll like to rush. I'll not read this citation. Maintaining of canteen for workers under the Factories Act. We all know, if in any company there are more than 250 workers, under the Factories Act, it is mandatory to have the canteen. So any supplies made to the workers under the on canteen for which no recovery has been made by the company is entitled to avail full ITC, and this has been so held in the case of Hindustan Coca Beverages Limited. Now the next is in some cases there is a requirement of the Ministry of Environment to maintain 33% of the plant area as a green belt. So if any contractor has been engaged to maintain that plant area as a green belt, and if the service tax has been paid or GST has been paid, then the SSC will be entitled to avail ITC. This has been so held in the pre-GST regime by in the case of India Glycol versus CC. Citation is there. Similarly, though garden service, the company may be maintaining garden, and it may not be mandatory requirement, but yet the whatever tax has been made for maintaining, the company would be entitled to avail the benefit. This has been held in the case of Millipore India Limited, because the finding of the tribunal is that if during lunchtime, during tea time, when the worker leave the factory for half an hour or 10 or 15 minutes, they take a rest, and it motivates them, and there is an increase in productivity, and therefore it is in furtherance of the business, and therefore the ITC will be available. Keeping the factory premises neat and clean is again you are entitled to. I am not reading because I have to highlight to 4 or 5 landmark judgment. Therefore, I am rushing through this. You may because I'll be giving this PPT to you. You can have it at your convenient time. Now, yes. Now, food and beverages is disallowed shockingly, because all London Chartered Accountant in their office, they employ the officers, they employ the staff, and they have to sit late, and when they sit late, they have to be offered tea, coffee, the drinks, or the not the hard drinks but the soft drinks, and they have to be offered the lunch or dinner on many occasions, and there is no reason to disallow the amount on food, but is disallowed. Now I am giving a way out. Many times it so happens in the company there is there is a business meet, there is a dealer meet, there is an annual meeting of the employees, and where there is an entertainment program also, and there is a prize distribution also. So the drinks are provided, and the food is also provided. So there is a way out. What could possibly be done is let the company to engage a event manager, and he would be given a comprehensive responsibility of right from preparation of blueprint to the ultimate conclusion of the event. He should be his entire duty and responsibility, including arranging food, including arranging cab also. If this is given, probably the ITC would be available. Outdoor catering is allowed only when it is the same thing, is supply as output service. Now it is most important thing 17C 17D. अब देखिए आप डी जरा पढ़ें इसको आप 17C पहले पढ़ लें आप 17C कहता है वर्क्स कॉन्ट्रैक्ट सर्विस अलाउड other than plant and machinery. Now let us read D. Goods or services or both received by a taxable person for construction of immovable property other than plant or machinery. The word is not plant and machinery. Plant or machinery on his own account, for his own business, for his own purpose, including when such goods or services both are used in the course or furtherance of business. So meaning thereby, if I buy goods, if I buy services, if I buy capital goods for the purpose of setting up a factory or setting up of I'm using the word establishment. Why I'm using establishment? There is a purpose. I'll explain to you. But if that establishment is either plant or machinery, then I am entitled to ITC. Then I will straight away take you to the various judgment, which are landmark judgment, which you will not find any book of GST. I am saying with all respect and humility. देखिए ITC on repair buildings पे नहीं मिलेगा आपको, because so long it is debited to the P&L account. If it is capitalized, then expenditure ITC on repair will not be. If you are capitalizing it, it will not be allowed. But if it is booked to P&L, it will be allowed. Now, अच्छा अब आप यहां देख लें. Now these are the landmark judgment. The first judgment of Supreme Court case, that is scientific engineering, where the Supreme Court awarded a principle of functional test. What the Supreme Court says, you have to see whatever is being built, you have to see what is the function. Forget about plant, forget about building, forget about machinery, but what is the function of that you have to see. In deciding whether a building, kindly make a note of it, building or structure of a plant is a plant. The functional test has to be applied if the building is an apparatus. Same, we have seen the definition of plant and machinery, the word apparatus appears there. Apparatus are a tool used by the SSC for carrying on the business or manufacturing activity, then it would be a part of a plant. Even to a building or a structure, which admittedly is a immovable property. If the building has no connection with the business or manufacturing activity, then obviously such a building will not be a plant. Then this again, second judgment is of Kerala full bench, where the Kerala full bench, what the Kerala full bench says, deciding factor is whether the building is a plant or not. Court must apply what is called functional test. Hotel building, theater building are a plant within the meaning of section 43(3) and accordingly entitled to depreciation as applicable to the plant. On appeal, Supreme Court did not intervene. What the Kerala bench full bench Kerala says, it is a plant. Building of a hotel, building of theater is a plant. And in 17(5)(d), we have seen what is the word is plant or machinery. They have not used the word plant and machinery. They have used the word plant or machinery. Now we have 2017 judgment of Karnataka DB in case of JK Cement. There also the principle of functional test has been applied. Where a building or superstructure is a plant, the functional test have to be applied. A building is an apparatus or a tool used by the SSC for carrying on the business or manufacturing activity, then it will be part of the plant. A building so and so, let us go. Now here what it says, the revisionary authority has merely proceeded on the basis that decision relied upon by the appellant are not applicable as they were rendered with reference to Income Tax Act. Tomorrow also department will say all these judgments are in relation to the income tax, so therefore will not apply. Now what the division bench Kerala High Court says, we do not find any ground to good reason to hold cement used for civil work and laying foundation and erection of plant and machinery by the SSC during the relevant period should not constitute a part and parcel of plant, and thus capital goods used for manufacturing of cement by the petitioner SSC later on, petitioner would be entitled to claim input tax credit in respect of tax paid by it in respect of such cement purchased and used by it during the relevant period prior to commencement of the commercial production for the purpose of erection of a plant and machinery. Then one more judgment of this is Karnataka in case of, no, sorry, this is the further ratio of this very judgment of Karnataka High Court. Now what the Karnataka High Court relied upon other judgment, which are those other judgment is reproduced here. In the following cases disposed of London single judge of this court, so and so, so and so, then these 5 lines are extremely important. Observe that Indian courts as well as English courts, depending upon the context of income tax law, have treated even asset like silos, dry dock built in the shipyard, 17(5)(d). Now, one more judgment of Supreme Court, functional test. Supreme Court in Venkatrao, if the building or superstructure constituted an apparatus or a tool of taxpayer by means of which business activities were carried on in amount to plant. Now, Guwahati High Court, same principle. Then we have the latest judgment of the Kerala High Court in case of Ambuja Cement, is again a landmark judgment. This is with respect to silos. You have seen in cement plant, the huge silos are constructed out of cement and steel for storage of cement. The question has arisen whether silos are a part of a plant or not. What the Kerala High Court says in case of Ambuja is a worth reading. With respect to silos, tribunal has placed reliance on so-and-so judgment, various loading so-and-so, 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 so, and held merely because some of the machinery or parts or silos are made out of steel and cement, it will not fall within the exempted group of civil structure not eligible for input tax credit. Silos with various machinery form an integral part of it, need to be considered as a plant, and the steel and cement used for construction of silos and connected machinery by itself. Now, very important words, kindly make a note of it. By itself will lose its identity as steel and cement, and it gets merged as a final plant with a specific purpose. The what the court says, the above mentioned observation made by the tribunal are well founded on sound principle which has got support from ruling cited above. Now, yeah, this I have already, I'll not read once again. Now, when I have said about the the functional test. Now the Supreme Court in pre-GST regime has evolved what is called user test. Because even earlier regime also, department used to deny the Senvet credit of the excise duty or service tax paid on plant and machinery, or even this is a case of chimney. Huge chimney was erected. The department took a plea. This huge chimney where जिस पे धुआं निकलता है is a immoral property, and therefore and is not a part of plant and machinery, and therefore you are not entitled to the benefit of the excise duty as well as the service tax paid. Now the Supreme Court evolved the theory of user test. What is the use? If the use is plant and machinery, the benefit of ITC, benefit of Senvet has got to be allowed. Now, what the ratio of Supreme Court is, applying the user test, steel plate, MS channel used in the fabrication of chimney, which would fall within the ambit of capital goods, so and so. It is not the case of revenue that both these items are not required to be used in the fabrication of chimney, which is an integral part of diesel generating set. Particularly when pollution control law make it obligatory that all plant which emit effluent should be so equipped with apparatus which can reduce or get rid of effluent gases. So Supreme Court has evolved user test. Earlier I have shown in the two judgment that was a functional test. Here it is Supreme Court says user test. So if user is plant and machinery, Senvet and the ITC has got to be allowed. Then we have again landmark judgment of Gujarat High Court, that is of 2020. These are all judgment are under different VAT laws. There also the Senvet on steel cement is sought to be disallowed by the department, and in this case also the ITC of plate, this HR plate, MS coil, this wire, ropes, rail also, welding electrode, but this was allowed. I'll skip and then go. Now आपने देखा section 15(6) में pipeline outside the factory, they are disallowing it. They outside the pipeline, outside the factory is not allowed. And let me tell you, my dear friends, learned friends, even earlier regime, this was the law. In earlier regime, in the case of Vikram Cement, the Supreme Court has allowed the input used in the mines. Mines were about 20 kilometers away from the factory. The input used in the mines, the Supreme Court says it is used in the manufacture of cement, and therefore Senvet will be allowed. Here I have reproduced Rule 2K. Rule 2K clearly says all input used in the factory. And in this case of Vikram Cement, input were used in the mines which were 25 kilometers away from the factory, yet Supreme Court allowed. They say they are used in the, ultimately, indirectly, they are used in the manufacture of cement, and therefore it will be allowable.
Mr. Sir, sorry to interrupt. Can we take the question answer, please?
Sir, give me only 5. There is one judgment of Safari. सफारी रिट्रीट में थोड़ा उसको एग्जामिन करके उसका वे आउट बताऊंगा आपको मैं।
प्लीज प्लीज सर।
देखिए साहब, now you must have seen there is judgment of safari retreat. Safari retreat, Odisha High Court in post GST regime, where the Odisha High Court has held that when immovable property is erected, which is let out on rent, GST was paid, the department disallows Senate credit on cement and steel, say it is a immovable property, and therefore under 17(5)(d) and C it is not allowable. And let me submit, the Odisha High Court allowed it, department filed an appeal, and no stay was granted. Sir, no stay was granted. So this judgment is alive. This has a persuasive value on all other high court. Now, what lesson can we take from this judgment? This I am going to place before you. Now, what I suggest in this case is, let all assessee take the credit. Let them not utilize it. Not utilize it. If the judgment is in their favor, they can always utilize it. And let me tell you, in all probability, judgment would be in the favor of assessee only, because Supreme Court has not granted any stay. If the Supreme Court judgment is against you, then what you always can do is, you can always reverse it. And since you have not utilized, there is no question of payment of interest. There is no question of payment of penalty, because the law is settled again that when you have not utilized, when you have taken a credit on the basis of a judgment of a high court, penalty is not imposable. And also extended period of limitation is again not invocable. Now, sir, subsequently, there are 5-6 judgments of different advanced ruling authority and the appellate authorities of advanced ruling. There also the to some extent ITC has been allowed on immovable property. There is the Odisha appellate authority where the plantation, what the Odisha appellate authority has held that in case of plantation done at the mines, not at the factory, plantation done at the mines, if GST is payable on the bill raised by the contractor, the ITC would be allowable. So the appellate authorities have deviated from the what is provided under the GST. So friend, there are a number of judgment of advanced ruling authority of different state. Since paucity of time, I am giving a full stop and thank once again and convey my gratitude to the Celltex Bar Association, Rakesh ji, and the Madam Nitika Khanna, Madam Rakesh ji, and Ashok ji for giving me an opportunity of sharing whatever little knowledge I have at my command to share with you. Thank you once again, and I am here for the question which the London member may have. Yes, sir. Questions?
मैम रीड कर दो आप.
हाँ, मैं कर रही हूँ. So there is a question from Saurabh Gupta. Is ITC allowed on gold cards used in factory for people movement inside factory?
Gold
cards.
Card for movement.
हाँ. Internally office में factory में use करने के लिए. Movement inside factory.
It is allowable. It will be allowed. It is for furtherance of business. Because it's not a motor vehicle. It is not a motor vehicle.
And one is from Mr. V.K. Verma. Can ITC be claimed on payment of RC and paid in 2020-21 but pertain to 2017-18?
Moment you have taken the credit validly, it could be utilized at any point of time in future. There is no law with respect to utilization, provided you have taken correctly.
नहीं सर, क्वेश्चन ये है सर इसमें,
हाँ जी बताएं।
मित्तल साहब, क्वेश्चन ये है,
यस सर, यस सर,
जो मेरा रिवर्स चार्ज 17-18 में ड्यू था,
अच्छा,
तो मैंने अब पे किया है 19-20 में, तो क्या मैं उसको ले सकता हूँ?
तो आपको उसका वो
यही है ना मैम क्वेश्चन?
सितंबर रिटर्न भी टाइम लैप्स कर गया आपका।
जी जी जी,
सितंबर का टाइम भी लैप्स कर गया। हाँ बताएं।
मित्तल साहब, विद ड्यू रिस्पेक्ट, विद
ये सर बताएं।
माय सबमिशन इज
नहीं मैं समझ
आईटीसी के बारे में और रिवर्स चार्ज के बारे में ऐसा कुछ कहा नहीं गया, मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ।
नहीं मैं आप एक मिनट पर प्रॉब्लम समझना चाह रहा हूँ। सो नो ओके, आईटीसी आपने रिवर्स चार्ज पे करा आपने, ठीक है ना जी, तो आपने पे करा, लेट पे करा आपने, एक मिनट जी, आपने लेट पे करा ना जी?
That is related with 17-18.
नहीं, आपने लेट पे करा विद इंटरेस्ट, ठीक है ना जी, लेट पे करा विद इंटरेस्ट। बिकॉज जो रिस्ट्रिक्शन है दैट इज विद रिस्पेक्ट टू दी फॉरवर्ड चार्ज पे, उस पे कोई रिस्ट्रिक्शन अभी नजर नहीं आई, ना ही कोई रूलिंग है इस पॉइंट पे, तो ना ही कोई रूलिंग है, तो मेरे हिसाब से मिल जाना चाहिए, बट इज अ मैटर ऑफ डिबेट।
जी,
There is a question from Udhav Anand. In view of retrospective amendment in section 140 of CGST Act, what shall be status of transitional credit?
Somebody will have to challenge it, madam.
नहीं, जो अभी हाईकोर्ट का जजमेंट आया मित्तल साहब, जो हाईकोर्ट का जजमेंट आया, तो क्या अब जो है वो नल एंड वाइड हो गया इस अमेंडमेंट के बाद?
रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव अमेंडमेंट चैलेंज करना पड़ेगा ना जी, फिर जो अमेंडमेंट है उसको चैलेंज।
मैं सर ये समझने का प्रयास कर रहा हूँ कि जो हाईकोर्ट की जजमेंट आ गई, क्या नल एंड वाइड हो गया?
ऑब्वियसली सर, उन्होंने क्या करा है, उन्होंने द गवर्नमेंट हैज ऑलवेज राइट टू कैरी आउट द अमेंडमेंट विद द रेट्रोस्पेक्टिव इफेक्ट, दैट राइट इज विद देम, आइदर देन यू आल्सो चैलेंज वंस अगेन saying that it is arbitrary and is violative of section article 14 of the constitution, so it has got to be challenged once again.
Okay sir.
There is a question from Rasik Mukherjee. Our client has imported the goods on 20th March 2020 and had paid the custom duty and IGST 2 on import, but could not take the delivery due to lockdown. The delivery was taken in May 2020. Can he claim IGST in March 2020?
डिलीवरी नहीं लिए तो कैसे ले लोगे मैडम आप जी? उसका आप करेंगे भी क्या? मुझे अगर आप पहले भी ले लेते तो क्या करते हैं इसका? वो तो लॉकडाउन ही था आपका। लॉ तो ये है कि व्हेन यू रिसीव द गुड्स ओनली देन यू आर एंटाइटल्ड टू, बिकॉज लॉ इज वेरी क्लियर, रिसीट ऑफ गुड्स और सर्विसेज। नाउ अगर ये मार्च में क्यों लेना चाहते, फैक्ट्री तो वैसे ही बंद थी उस वक्त, तो ही कुड अदरवाइज ही कुड नॉट यूटिलाइज इट, या तो कुछ और रीजन है तो बताएं, फिर उसका भी सोल्यूशन देंगे इनको हम।
But as per law when he received the goods.
Yes, not before that.
Okay. The next question is from Sunil Minocha. So where proceedings are initiated under section 274 of CGST Act, ITC is denied, but in appeal the decision
274 or 74? 74 proceedings are proceeding initiated na ji?
Yeah, initiated under section 74 of CGST Act.
ठीक है
ITC is denied, but in appeal the decision comes in favor of assessee.
Yes. And
no willful evasion of tax was proved by the revenue, and the short paid tax was attributed to inadvertent errors, which was ultimately not seen as reason of fraud. How ITC could be availed or utilized in such a scenario?
अवेल तो आप इन्होंने अवेल तो कर ही लिया ना पहले जी, अवेल कर रहा है तो इसलिए तो उन्होंने शो कॉज हुआ है उनका 74 में, तो अवेल तो क्वेश्चन आई एम टेकिंग सेकंड टाइम, he has availed credit only then SCN has been issued under 74, and he says that in 74 department could not prove the extended period of limitation, तो 73 में तो वैसे ही अलाउड होता है भाई, आईटीसी 73 में तो अलाउड वैसे भी है, 74 में डिसअलाउड है, 74 का केस ही नहीं है, और क्रेडिट तो पहले ले ही चुके हैं वो, और कितने बार क्रेडिट लेंगे ये?
The next is a company has business of letting out property on rent. Shall they claim ITC on cost of construction?
Safari treat, yes.
No, it's a
हाँ तो उसमें क्या दिक्कत है मैडम? Perfectly allowed. Safari treated, what I've said is take the credit, don't utilize it, let it lie as it is. And Supreme Court very soon is going to hear this safari retreat. And many companies, many real estate builder, they have moved and appeals for intervention. All leading builders, they will be arguing. And as I said, it is my humble view. And in my humble view, this judgment will be upheld because it's totally arbitrary to disallow Senbet credit or ITC.
This was the, I think, last question. All are completed.
एक क्वेश्चन राकेश जी का आ रहा था मैडम.
एक नहीं, अब चैट में आया हुआ है एक अखिलेश जी का. Is delivery to transporter not amounting to goods delivered and received on behalf, as in case of bill to ship to?
नहीं, देखिए,
it's not a question.
ना मैं बता देता हूँ उसका. ऐसा है, if the transporter is the agent, if the transporter is the agent of buyer, then it's a delivery to him. Few of the author says it is a delivery to the buyer. Some says no. So it is a little disputed matter, because in case of FOR sale, transporter is a agent of buyer. If it is given to the buyer, if it is given to the transporter, it is a deemed delivery and he could take the credit.
एक क्वेश्चन मैडम व्हाट्सएप पे आया हुआ राकेश कुमार जी का. उनका कहना यह है कि टेलीफोन बिल जो एम्प्लॉइज के होते हैं वो कंपनी के एम्प्लॉइज के नाम में होते हैं, तो जब वो 2A के अंदर नहीं आएगा तो उसका इनपुट कैसे ले पाएंगे, हमारे नाम बिल नहीं है तो वो. मित्तल साहब मेरी आवाज सुन रहे हैं?
हाँ मैं सुन रहा हूँ. उसका कोई डिवाइस, we have to devise some ways with the department.
जी जी जी.
In earlier regime it is allowed. In earlier regime it is allowed, and there is no reason to disallow here just because it could not be uploaded. The trade industry, they have to meet because there is a recurring problem.
एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन मेरा भी है लास्ट में. बार के मेंबर्स काफी पूछते रहते हैं इसके बारे में, जो बोगस परचेजेस का जो डिपार्टमेंट ने चला रखा है आजकल, बिलिंग का जो सिस्टम होता है, इसमें मित्तल साहब वो क्या होता है, जितने मेटल्स है ना, जितने आयरन.
सर मुझे सब पता है. उसको
छोटी सी
मैं आंसर दे रहा हूँ सर. मैं आंसर दे रहा हूँ सर. ऐसा है सर, there are number of cases like this and all suppliers are near Nangloi. जो आपका बहादुरपुर का बॉर्डर है ना, बहादुर रोड के पास, यहाँ के सप्लायर है सारी. And I have argued the cases of at least 10 buyers in all cases, and so much so the main culprit to whom department says he only sold invoices, department miserably failed to prove the case against him also. What to talk of buyer? Department miserably failed to prove in case of supplier, in case of buyer as well. Buyer, as far as the buyer is concerned, I said, sir, here is invoice. I have paid money to the supplier. I have paid tax to the supplier. The amount has been debited in my account. What else? What further could I do it? The goods have come in my factory. There is an entry at the factory gate. There is an entry in my stock register. There is this goods have been used by me in my factory, and the finished goods have been cleared upon payment of duty. So what is lacking as far as I am concerned? Department miserably failed. At least 5 cases I have argued in Sestet, Delhi. And in case of main culprit, I am forgetting his name. The name of the party started with K, Kapil or something name. Even in that case also, department miserably failed. So department could not do anything because they do not do any investigation at all. Sorry to use this word.
सर एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन हो रहा है, जो शो कॉज नोटिस इशू करते हैं ये लोग,
हाँ जी,
सेक्शन 70 में SCN जो इशू करते हैं, उसके अंदर एजुकेशन में दोनों के बीच में कोई टाइम लिमिट है? कितने टाइम में SCN के बाद एजुकेट करना है इनको, या कोई टाइम लिमिट नहीं है?
ऐसा है सर, उसमें अगर आप देखेंगे 17.5.10 में, 17.5.10 या 17.5.12 में उन्होंने कहा है कि जो आपका टाइम पीरियड प्रेस्क्राइब है 3 साल और 5 साल. देखिए लॉ है 73 में जब शो कॉज उन्होंने देना है तो वो किसी वक्त भी दे सकते हैं, 3 महीना टाइम बचा हो, ठीक है जी. और 74 में जब 6 महीने का टाइम बचा हो, तो 3 महीने का टाइम एडजुडिकेशन के लिए उनका 73 में है, 6 महीने का टाइम 74 में है. मीनिंग देयर बाई एडजुडिकेशन ऑर्डर पास करना है 3 साल में और 5 साल में। अगर 3 साल और 5 साल में ऑर्डर नहीं पास करते हैं तो 75-10, आई थिंक 75-10 ही है, जिसमें the SCN is deemed to have been adjudicated। हाँ, ये है सर आपका, हाँ, subsection 10 of section 75, which clearly says that if adjudication is not concluded in 3 year and 5 year, it is deemed to have been concluded।
सर 74 में जितने भी ऐसे इशू होते हैं, 74 में जितने भी बोगस वाले 74 में इशू होते हैं, ये 74 में 5 साल का टाइम है
जी सर।
तो डिपार्टमेंट 5 साल तक के लिए वो सुपरिटेंडेंट जो है ना उसको लटकाता रहता है, वहाँ हाईटेक करते रहो कि ऑर्डर पास नहीं करते हैं वो लोग।
सर मैं आपको बताता हूँ, मैंने हंड्रेड्स ऑफ केसेस करे हैं। इवन 73 के केसेस में 2 साल से पहले कभी एडजुडिकेशन नहीं कंप्लीट होता है। 74 के केस में 3 साल और 4 साल से पहले एडजुडिकेशन कंप्लीट नहीं होता है। इन्होंने 73 और 74 में घास छीलनी है, कुछ नहीं करना, बता रहा हूं मैं आपको। कोई ना आपको डॉक्यूमेंट सप्लाई करेंगे, ना आपको जिनके स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड करें, ना उनको क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन देंगे, कुछ नहीं करेंगे, सिर्फ समरी जस्टिस होना है आपको। बी रेडी फॉर समरी जस्टिस, इट विल नॉट बी रियल जस्टिस, समरी जस्टिस, बिकॉज they have to conclude in 3 months and 6 months।
सर उसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या आती है कि जुलाई 2017 से लेके आज तक का रिकॉर्ड मांगते हैं ये लोग, सारे इनवॉइसेस हो जाते हैं, बैंक स्टेटमेंट हो जाती हैं और रद्दी की तरह उसको फेंक देते हैं, इसके अकाउंट में नहीं देते हैं। तो इसका कोई इलाज है सर?
सर कोई इलाज नहीं है, इसका इलाज यही है डिपार्टमेंट को, भैया इसको आप जो 73 में आप 1 साल का टाइम रखो और 74 में आप इसको बढ़ा के 2 साल करो कम से कम। ये कभी कंक्लूड हो ही नहीं सकता सर, इज इम्पॉसिबल, आई एम टेलिंग यू, impossible, sorry I am using the word impossible, it has never happened, I have never seen a single case in my lifetime where they have adjudicated in less than 1 year। ये रिप्लाई के बाद ही 1 साल के बाद की तो डेट देते हैं लोग, ये कहां से एडजुडिकेट कर लेंगे।
Over to Rakesh ji, only 5 minutes left।
जी राकेश।
थैंक यू मित्तल सर, बहुत अच्छी ढंग से आपने आज एलोबरेट किया और बहुत सारी चीजें जो कहीं ना कहीं हमें नहीं पता था, खासकर मुझे नहीं पता था, शायद मैं अपनी बात करूं तो वो हमें आज पता लगी। बहुत अच्छे ढंग से आपने इंटरप्रेट किया, बहुत अच्छे ढंग से आपने चीजों को समझाया और मुझे विश्वास है कि हमारे मेंबर भी जो है बहुत इनलाइटन होंगे। आपकी जो नॉलेज है वो बहुत वास्ट है। तो सो नाइस ऑफ यू सर, मैं सबकी तरफ से आपका तहे दिल से शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। और मैं शुरू में कह रहा था ये बात कि जब हम आपको सुनेंगे तब जो है आपकी काबिलियत का पता लगेगा और वो हमें पूर्ण रूप से पता लग गया। सो नाइस ऑफ यू सर,
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर, सो काइंड ऑफ यू, सो काइंड ऑफ।
ऑफिशियल वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए मैं आमंत्रित करता हूं मनीष जी को कि वो ऑफिशियल वोट ऑफ थैंक्स देकर आज की मीटिंग को समापन की तरफ लेकर चले। मनीष जी।
थैंक यू राकेश जी। सबसे पहले पीके मित्तल जी आपका दिल से आभार, हमारी सेंटर्स बार एसोसिएशन की तरफ से, एग्जीक्यूटिव की तरफ से, कि आपने इनपुट एज क्रेडिट के अवेलमेंट के ऊपर जितने अच्छे तरीके से उसके फंडामेंटल्स, उसको टेक्निकली, प्रैक्टिकली और सबसे ज्यादा आपने जो हाई कोर्ट, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के लीडिंग केसेस साथ में लगाए हैं उसकी वजह से हमें बहुत अच्छे से समझ में आया है। और वही राकेश जी से मैं भी बिल्कुल सहमत हूँ कि मेरी नॉलेज तो एटलीस्ट बहुत ज्यादा गेन हुई है मतलब की, और मैं बिल्कुल मानता हूँ कि मेरे जो हमारे मेंबर जो हमारे साथ इसमें जुड़े हुए हैं उनके भी नॉलेज में बहुत इजाफा हुआ होगा। इसके साथ साथ मैं अपने बार के मेंबर्स का और सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स का, जो लर्नर सीनियर सब इसमें हमारे साथ हैं, इससे हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म के ऊपर हमारे साथ आए हैं, उनका भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और इसी तरह से हम दोबारा इस सीरीज में राकेश जी से रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि इसमें इसी तरह से इसको आगे चलाते रहे ताकि हम सबका और पूरी बार का फायदा होता रहे।
Thank you sir, thank you sir, so nice of you sir,
so kind of you,
we will invite you for a cup of tea in the bar sir।
Okay
राकेश जी,
thank you sir, thank you
जी, thank you very much।